Hi everyone, my name is Linda. Today I'm gonna read Little House in a Big Wood, Chapter 3, The Long Rifle. The Long Rifle. Every evening, before he began to tell stories, Pa made the bullets for his next day's hunting. Laura and Mary helped him. They brought the big long-handled spoon and a box full of bits of lead and a bullet mold. Then, while he squatted on the hearth and made the bullets, they sat one on each side of him and watched. First he melted the bits of lead in a big spoon, held in a coil. When the lead was melted, he poured it carefully from the spoon into the little hole in the bullet mold. He waited a minute, then he opened the mold and out dropped a bright new bullet on the hearth. The bullet was too hot to touch, but it shone so temptingly that sometimes Laura or Mary could not help touching it. Then they burned the fingers, but they did not say anything, because Pa had taught them never to touch a new bullet. If they burned the fingers, that was their own fault. They should have minded him. So they put the fingers in the mouths to cool them and watched Pa make more bullets. There would be a shining pile of them on the hearth before Pa stopped. He let them cool. Then with his jackknife he trimmed off the little lumps left by the hole in the mold. He gathered up the tiny shavings of lead and saved them carefully to melt again the next time he made bullets. The finishing bullets he put into his bullet pouch. This was a bag which Ma had made beautifully of buckskin from a buck Pa had shot. After the bullets were made, Pa would take his gun down from the wall and clean it. Out in the snowy woods all day, it might have gathered a little dampness, and the inside of the barrel was sure to be dirty from powder smoke. So Pa would take the ramrod from its place under the gun barrel and fasten a piece of clean cloth on its end. He stood the butt of the gun in a pan on the hearth and poured boiling water from a tea kettle into the gun barrel. Then he quickly rubbed the ramrod in and rubbed it up and down, up and down, up and down, while the hot water blackened with powder smoke spurted up through the little hole on which the cap was placed when the gun was loaded. Pa kept pouring in more water and washing the gun barrel with the cloth on the ramrod until the water ran out clear. Then the gun was clean. The water must always be boiling so that the heated steel would fry instantly. Then Pa put a clean grease rag on the ramrod, and while the gun barrel was still hot, he greased it while on the inside. With another clean greased cloth, he rubbed it all over outside until every bit of it was oiled and sleek. After that, he rubbed and polished the gun stock until the wood of it was bright and shining too. Now he was ready to load the gun again, and Laura and Mary must have him, standing straight and tall, holding the gun upright on his butt. While Laura and Mary stood on either side of him, Pa said, "You watch me now, and tell me if I made a mistake. If I make a mistake." So they watched very carefully but he never made a mistake. Laura handed him a smooth, polished horn full of gunpowder. The top of the horn was a little metal cap. Paul filled the cap full of gunpowder and poured the powder down the barrel of the gun. Then he shook the gun a little and tapped the barrel to be sure all the powder was together in the bottom. "Where's my pouch box?" he asked then, and Mary gave him a little tin box full of little pieces of greasy cloth. Paul laid one of these bits of greasy cloth over the muzzle of the gun, put one of the shiny new bullets on it, and with the ramrod he pushed the bullet in the cloth down the gun barrel. Then he pounded them tightly against the powder. When he hit them with the ramrod bounced up in the gun barrel, and Paul caught it and thrust it down again. He did this for a long time. Next, he put the ramrod back in its place against the gun barrel. Then, taking a box of caps from his pocket, he raised the hammer of the gun and slipped one of the little bright caps over the hollow pin that was under the hammer. He let the hammer down slowly and carefully. If it came down quickly, then the gun would go off. Now the gun was loaded, and Pa laid it on its hook over the door. When Pa was at home, the gun always lay across those wooden hooks above the door. Pa would the hooks out of the green stick with his knife, and had driven the strange end deep into the hole in log. The hook ends curved upward and held the gun securely. The gun was always loaded and always above the door so that Pa could get it quickly and easily any time he needed a gun. When Pa went into the big woods, he always made sure that the bullet pouch was full of bullets, and that the tin pouch box and the box of caps were with it in his pockets. The powder horn and a small sharp hatchet hung at his belt, and he carried a gun ready loaded on his shoulder. He always reloaded the gun as soon as he had fired it, for he said he did not want to meet trouble with an empty gun whenever he shot at a wild animal. He had to stop and load the gun, measure the powder, put it in, and shake it down, put in the pouch and the bullet, pound them down, and then put a fresh cap under the hammer before he could shoot again. When he shot at a bear or a panther, he must kill it with the first shot. A one bear or panther could kill a man before he had no time to load his gun again. But Laura Mary was never afraid when Pa went alone in the big woods. They knew that he could always kill bears and panthers with the first shot. After the bullets were made and the gun was loaded, came storytelling time. Tell us about the voice in the woods. Laura begged. Pa twinkled up his eyes at her. "Oh no," he said. "I don't want to hear about the time I was a naughty little boy." "Oh yes, we do, Laura and Mary said. So Pa began the story of Pa and the voice in the woods. "When I was a little boy, not much bigger than Mary, I had to go every afternoon to find the cows in the woods and drive them home. My father taught me never to play by the way, but to hurry and bring the cows home before dark, because there were bears and wolves and panthers in the wood. One day I started earlier than usual, so I thought I did not need to hurry. There were so many things to see in the wood that I forgot that the dark was coming. There were red squirrels in the trees, chipmunks scurrying through the leaves, and little rabbits playing games together in the open places. You know, always have games together before they go to bed. I began to play. I was a mighty hunter, stalking the wild animals and the Indians. I was fighting in the Indians until the woods seemed full of wild men, and then all at once I heard the birds twittering good night. It was dusky in the path, in the dark in the woods. I knew that I must get the cows home quickly, or it would be a black night before they were safe in the barn, and I couldn't find the cows. I listened, but I could not hear the bells. I called, but the cows didn't come. I was afraid of the dark and the wild beasts, but I dared not to go home to my father without the cows, so I ran through the woods, hunting and calling. All the time, the shadows were getting thicker and darker, and the woods seemed larger, and the trees and the bushes looked strange. I could not find the cows anywhere. I climbed up the hills looking for them and calling, and went down into the dark ravine, calling and looking. I stopped and listened for the cow's bell, and there was not a sound but the rustling of leaves. Then I heard loud breathing. I thought a panther was there in the dark behind me, but it was only my own breathing. My bare legs were scratching by the brush, and when I ran through the bushes, the branches struck me. They kept on looking and calling, Suki, Suki, I shouted with all my might. Right over my head, something asked, Who? My hair stood strange on end. Who? Who? The voice said again, and then how I did run. I forgot all about the cows, and all I wanted was to get out of the dark woods to get home. The thing in the dark came after me and called again. Who? I ran with all my might. I ran till I couldn't breathe, and still I kept on running. Something grabbed my foot, and down I went. Up I jumped, and then I ran. Not even a wolf had caught me. At last, I came out of the dark woods. By the barn, there stood all the cows, waiting to be led for the barn. I let them in, and then ran to the house. My father looked up and said, Young man, what makes you so late? Been playing by the way. I looked down at my feet, and then I saw that one big toenail had been torn clean off. I had been so scared I had not felt it hurt until the minute. I always stopped telling the story here and waited until Laura said, Go on, Pa, please go on. Well, Pa said, then your grandpa went out in the yard and cut a star through it. And he came back into the house and gave me a good thrashing, so that I would remember to mind him after that. A big boy, 9 years old, isn't old enough to remember to mind. He said, that's a good reason for what I tell you to do. He said, and if you do as you're told, no harm will come to you. Yes, yes, Pa, I would say, bouncing up and down on Pa's knee. And then what did he say? He said, if you are with me, as you should, you wouldn't have been out in the big woods after dark, and you wouldn't have been scared by a screech owl. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.